What the hell is going on in this space, man? There is a lot of FUD hitting cryptocurrency. I apologize for being late, but I've always been here. Bitcoin. MicroStrategy might have a little, well, they're probably going to end up being liquid strategy because those guys have got this doom and gloom about their liquidation. It's a double-edged sword, guys. It's unlikely they'll go to liquidation, but if Bitcoin keeps going down, they're going to have themselves a real big problem. Now, you've got to remember, a lot of people are thinking now that the FUD that's hitting the space of crypto right now, if we go back to the last time when there was lots and lots of FUD, it was when the market effectively bottomed out. But the last time the market bottomed out, we didn't have high interest rates. We didn't have high inflation. We didn't have no problem with President Trump talking at any moment's notice. I mean, he's appearing more times than the unemployment claims in a month. He's appearing every single day. It frustrates the life out of me, but never mind, guys. What we're going to do today is just going to break it all down for you. I will try and keep this live short and sweet for you all. Just give you enough information in a short amount of time so you can go about your day and try and make sense of the madness that is unfolding. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe. It is free to do. Hit the likes. I want to try and get 1,000 likes in this live stream. And if we can achieve that, happy days. Anyways, let's get with the program, gang. Here we go. I mean, NASDAQ right now has made a nice little sweep to the upside to come rolling over. And we do have the good old Nvidia earnings coming out today at the close. Guys, I'm telling you now, just sit tight with Bitcoin. Don't be so hasty to get in and buy it because everyone's like, the FUD's here. The market bottom is in. We are only anticipating that Nvidia can actually come through with its earnings. But we've got a bit of a problem, man. The bonds market moving up. Okay, and it is starting to pull back right now, which is fine. We're going into the volatility index. That thing is starting to base out at these lows. That's fine. Dollar dominance currently at the 6.15 region, so 6.15% on appreciation of the dollar. It is moving up, okay? Now, secondly, looking at oil, you can see oil is just basing out, not really doing anything. Okay, going into the out of hours for the Nvidia, you can see Nvidia is sort of gapping up at the open, but it is news day for them, so things are going to get a little bit excitable for traders who are in Nvidia. Now, looking at the euro, you can see euro said nope and started to pull back a little bit on the logic that we assume that the Japanese yen coming down means the dollar is going to be going up, which could mean that investors might be seeking the safety of assets. With that being said, going over into gold, you can see gold has now come down. Okay, gold has pulled back ever so slightly. And they are effectively preparing for a hedge. I would be expecting gold to try and make a little bit of a move higher, but it's now being very, very trying. So those in the platinum membership, you've got to be very careful with gold right now. It is coming down in towards this area. If this area of support does not sustain itself, then gold is on the yippee-ki-yay move to the downside, because then that means the dollar dominance is going up. But remember, today we got data coming out, which is the new home sales. And if the new home sales are coming in lower, which compared to last time at 679,000, then that would mean that the economy is slowing down. That means the Federal Reserve needs to cut the interest rates, which in principle means gold should be going up, because gold goes up inverse to the interest rates, because investors believe that they're not going to be getting the same yield that they would on the dollar. They're now going to be going into an asset that will give them the yield that they want. Now, with that being said, going over into other assets like silver's starting to pull back, and then you've got platinum. That is basing out right now. But more importantly, let's just get into the space of cryptocurrency and understand why on earth Bitcoin is dropping down. Probably because of this. Could MicroStrategy be forced to sell its $43 billion stash? Experts are weighing in on the logic that there is growing concerns about MicroStrategy and their story with their Bitcoin holdings. Remember, it is unrealized, so they haven't done anything with it. They're just picking it up. And it says here, while liquidation remains unlikely, long-term risks tied to Bitcoin volatility and convertible bond maturities could strain MicroStrategy's finances. Listen to that. Here is MicroStrategy's finances. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? So those of you that are buying a stock, all right, you're buying this stock on the premise that it's all based on Bitcoin holdings. That is it. Let's have a look at their holdings or their statistics. So price earnings ratio for 2026 is minus 3,687%. So every share that you buy of this stock, you are losing minus $14. That is a wise investment. Now, next one. We have got a lot of ownership in funds at 1140, but the new results when they come out in the new quarter is going to probably paint a different picture. Now, you can see that MicroStrategy is starting to pull back from these highs. And remember, anyone that bought the convertible bond as it was rising up around the 350 mark, they effectively have to hold on to it until it reaches a maturity or a price of $625. It's 53% off its all-time high. That's a bit of a smack. And there's an old saying in the stock market, it's cheap for a reason. There's a reason why stocks are priced at what they're priced at, and they're going lower and lower and lower. There's a reason for it. If fund owners aren't picking it up, why the hell are you? It's like going to buy a car, right, at a scrapyard. The reason it was there in the first place is because it doesn't work. Now, of course, you got the guys that are like, you know what, I'm going to buy this car for scrap and sell the parts. Just forget that. But could you imagine how illogical it would be to go to a scrapyard and be like, I'm looking for a car to buy? Why would you do that? It just doesn't make business sense. That's like taking the stuff that you don't want in your home to a charity shop and going back the next week and buying it. It doesn't make sense. Anyways, moving on from that shocking what is going on with the NASDAQ, it's just doing something pretty crazy, right? NASDAQ is just bleeding out, ladies and gentlemen. The pressure is in. The pressure is in. Let's just have a look. NASDAQ is just rolling down on the 1 hour time frame. It's getting very interesting. Daily open test potentially. Looking at it on XO charts, you can see over here that NASDAQ has just got that 4 hour candle just ripping down. Initial balance on the S&P right there. NASDAQ coming in to eat that imbalance at the daily open. Could be a point where they do like to try and reverse from it, but the market ain't even open yet, and everyone's getting excited. Now, listen, the longer NASDAQ keeps going down and down and down before Nvidia, that could be a clue that it could shoot back up. But if Nvidia don't follow through with their earnings, we're going to have ourselves a very, very big problem. Speaking of which, going over into Bitcoin, let's break down price action there. Looking at the order flow. In the last hour, 2,000 traders have been liquidated. May God bless them. And now let's just have a look at what's going on here. Order flow. They got, oh, God, look at it. It's all there. 8 million, 20 million. It's 4 million. Oh, God, it's just not looking good, ladies and gentlemen, for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the last area of support. If it can't sustain itself in this area here at the 86, we're going to have ourselves a massive, massive problem with it. All right, if they do lose this 86, 85 region itself, then it's done. Unless Bitcoin does decide to bounce from this range, then we're going to have ourselves a pretty bloody day across the board. Looking at the liquidations, there's not really anything happening right now in terms of the liquidations. Going to the one-day chart itself just to see where we are with the retail traders. Are they borrowing money? It's opening, oh, God, just below 86,000. We got 209 million at 85,750. Logic says that we would be expecting a sweep to try and see a little bit of a reversal. I mean, everyone is saying that it is all FUD and what have you, but if it keeps on going down, is it FUD? You know, it's like people are like, don't talk about, worry about, it's bad news. So what, so what, so what? I'm going to still hold on to my Bitcoin and hold it till it gets to Uranus. Again, the Uranus joke, it's so funny. The stock market, they're waiting for Nvidia, and that's the truth, guys. And if Nvidia doesn't follow through with their earnings, AI is in the bin. It's too expensive. Investors will pull their risk, but have we been given a clue about it? The bonds market. Investors are just going to bonds. They're going to bonds, and that's a problem for us because if they keep going to the bonds, it means they're no longer seeking risk. Remember last week we were talking about the idea that the stock market and the bond market, the stock-bond ratio is suggesting that stocks are overvalued in comparison to the bonds. The bonds are trading at 102 now. So it means that investors are going into it. That means they're getting rid of risk, going into low risk, and the stock market is dropping at the same time. What you really want to see is low risk being engaged and high risk being engaged. If you don't see that relationship happening, then you've got yourselves a bit of a problem because fundamentally, when we go over to the yields market, oh, Bitcoin shit in the bed, man. The yields market is starting to move up, but the bonds have pulled back ever so slightly. The yen is down, the euro is down, the dollar is up. Okay, so we kind of got ourselves that logic that everything is just going to be going into the bin. For God's sake. Any questions, guys? Any bloody questions? Tino is coming from a trader's mentality. I know he knows Bitcoin is the one in the long term. let me explain something about Bitcoin, just so you guys can understand exactly what we're dealing with. Bitcoin is about making money. Your idea of Bitcoin in the future, okay, is being violated by this bloody group of people, but the balance still remains. Where's my Metallica fans, man? The memory still remains, you know? Looking at the transactions, I mean, BlackRock's been doing it again. 2 hours ago, they sold 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 again. They're selling 18 Bitcoin again. 1,800 Bitcoin, all right? They seem to be just doing it all the time. There's 300, 300. I mean, and that's going to a Coinbase Prime deposit. So that could be liquidity being swept across the board right now. I mean, just going into Bitcoin, it's not looking good. Go to Ethereum, it's not even looking better as well. Setup could be getting violated. Well, it's not our setup's not really in play until they actually clear out price action and make the move up. So there's a little one for you. Solana. Solana. Very interesting logic coming into play with Solana right now. Very interesting logic. Any other questions, guys, before we get this party started off? Any questions? So you got to understand, Georgius, I'm coming. We're looking for, I can't really talk about it now, but anyways, don't copy and paste that, man. I'll answer it very shortly. Holders are selling, not BlackRock. I think the holders sold a long time ago. I think holders sold a long time ago. Bitcoin dominance going down. Oh, God, Georgios, man, you don't need to. I'll answer that question shortly, my friend. When we're holding price between 90 and 100K for 3 weeks, you said fundamentally it could be seen as accumulation, but if they sold every move, if they sold for every move up, can it just be the MM selling to buy cheaper? Principally, this is what you've got with Bitcoin, okay? Because everyone is like, no one's allowing oh God, vector candle recovery in the zone. Jesus Christ, it's not looking good. NASDAQ making a nice little sweep at the test of the daily open. That is very nice. Bitcoin needs to clear that 200 EMA. And I said to you all before, we need to see a sharp drop to see the reversal back up. And we're getting that move. Okay, we are getting that move. And if we do get that move, which is happening right now, Bitcoin in principle should be making a reversal if it triggers enough people on the bid side. But the orders are coming in. But at the same time, the offers are coming in as well. So there is a desire to sell Bitcoin sooner rather than later. But there's also a desire to buy as much of it as they can at these lows. Okay, so we're at reversal points in the chart, ladies and gentlemen. That's the truth for me. That is the truth. Daniel, mad love for you, my bro. Thank you. Tina, have you heard that the launch of the Gen 5 NVIDIA gaming GPU is the worst? The specs don't even meet up with what they've advertised. Also, difference between 4th generation and 5th generation is not that big. Yeah, I know. I know that the 4th generation, so basically you're paying like, I think it's like $700-800 more on the 5th generation for exactly the same performance as the 4th generation. Okay, I'm not going to do that now, am I? You know, and that's why they said growing pains, teething issues. So that probably will be revealed later on in the Nvidia earnings results. That's the thing we've got to be mindful of. Anybody, anything notable to watch in the EU session on NQ? Figured I'd try to exploit times when Trump isn't awake. That's a good bloody move, that is. You know what? You've got to remember, guys, that what's going on right now in the marketplace is everyone's relying on what's going on with these tariffs because that's going to dictate what the economy is going to end up looking like in the future. All right. And is it going to serve the idea that the bonds market the yields are going to go down because everyone's seeking the safety of the bonds, which naturally means that the Federal Reserve has, in principle, it has to cut interest rates at some point, but they're not seeing the impact of these tariffs yet. And it's going to take a little while. That's why we're in wait and see mode with regards to the tariffs and inflation and, of course, cutting or increasing the interest rates. If something drastic happens that the Fed is forced to increase the interest rates, that's going to be on the back of the actual inflation going up and up and up. That's the issue. Heard a rumor that Nvidia accidentally changed out the chip design for the new generation. Not sure how true that is, though. Tino, what is gold? Gold is what is usually does in the US Brinks and near yesterday's low. There's an imbalance of 2924. Gold is a safe haven. Shouldn't gold be pushing back up? Yes, it is a safe haven, but not before hedge fund managers buy it. Hedge fund managers go long when gold goes down. Next hedgeable event will then see gold moving up. That's when you're going to start seeing gold in the news again saying safe haven, safe haven, safe haven. Okay? Go back and look at every time gold is mentioned in the news. Go look at the price action, and it's always when it's moving up. Then when gold hits its highs as such, okay, and then it starts to come back down, we're no longer in that safe haven. That mode of no longer in safe haven is when hedge fund managers step in, because they are hedge fund managers. They have to hedge themselves for a future event. All right? Gold is dumping hard. Oh, God, let's have a look. I wouldn't say it's dumping hard right now. I mean, that is the daily time frame. It's going for it could still hold out, man. It's still holding out. It's not taking that range just yet. See, on a short-term time frames, why does the cloud expand a lot of the times? Does that mean volatility is present? Correct. Well, the largest holder of gold right now is the United States, okay? Then you've got second in line, which would be China, then Russia, and then, well, hold on. It's not about who holds the most. It's about who's accumulating most of it, all right? It's Russia and China. They are picking up bag loads of gold like crazy. Let me show you right here, okay? Just to put it into perspective for you all. Come here, look at this. So if we go gold holdings. So this chart is going to come up in a split second. Gold reserves, okay? So this is the World Central Bank's holdings of gold, all right? So you've got the US at the top right there, and the US holds 8,133 tons as such, okay? Then Germany is next with 3,352. Oh, that has changed. That's central banks holding gold though, okay? Here we go. How many of them hold reserves in gold? So the US world, okay, so gold right now is in official reserve assets, 261 million tons in the United States. Germany's next. I can't believe that. That is absolutely wild. And only, wow. Look how much the world is holding. It doesn't look like that's much. Interesting. Oh, gold. Come on, gold. Where are we at? Bitcoin. That's shit the bed. NASDAQ's moving down. Now the Bitcoin's moving down. It's swept the range, ladies and gentlemen. But then again, session's going to open in a sec. So we've got to be careful. I'm looking at NASDAQ. Volatility index is going up. These are times. Germany, okay. So, you know, when there's wicks, for example, at the highs and they want higher prices, and sometimes a rejection, I'm getting confused. Can you please explain? When you're looking for wicks, this is actually, I'm going to be straight with you guys. This is a shit show. It really is. I mean, Bitcoin has made its way towards the green vector candle recovery. I know I said it was going to go there. I didn't expect it to go so soon, but for God's sake, man, it's ripping that liquidity. And if this is the market bottom, then damn, these guys' asses are being tested right out the book because there's nothing stopping it. If you're only getting rid of, what, 1,800 Bitcoin, that tells you that these guys are pretty satisfied with the way Bitcoin's behaving. Range daily low, it could be in line for a bit of a reversal. It's sweeping up the liquidity right now. It's taken some orders right there. Jesus, man. Smaller time frames. Yeah, it looks like it's a controlled move, but it is Nvidia. That's why I said to you all yesterday, don't buy Bitcoin just yet. Don't, because it's just sat in drawdowns. And we see this move coming up. Oh, wow. Okay, fine. But, you know, if you can absorb it, fine. But just wait until Nvidia news announcements come out. They could be pricing in Nvidia news right now. The 200, yeah, the 200 EMA is something I wanted to touch. There you go. You've got the touch of the 200 EMA. So there should be an initial reaction here. And it's yet to recover the green vector candle zone just yet. Look how close we are towards it. All right. So by the market's memory, as I said to you all on Monday, I think it is, the market's memory should be getting triggered inside of this range, okay? Take the midpoint. This is for holders. Take the midpoint, 84,458. If they lose 84,458, you then have this range right here, 80,000, which in essence should be the market's trigger for the memory of guys who were buying before thinking, oh, it could be a discount because last time at that point it marked up because there was activity in that range. Jesus Christ, NASDAQ, what are you doing, my bro? Tina, what do you think about the textbook Bitcoin Wyckoff formation on the daily? Yeah, probably on that. I mean, as a scalper, that's too much of a wide range. I mean, S&P, Jesus Christ, it's taking a shit. It is taking an absolute shoot to the downside. Could they not be bringing Nvidia down to buy it up and then send it higher due to the consensus of earning being so high for Nvidia? Chaos, that's the problem, man. Nvidia has such a large, high bar to establish itself on. It has to do well. There is no room to hear about maybe our chip ain't working or we didn't really see some success on this. We had to recall certain things. People aren't happy with this. Their earnings have to be stellar. Their sales have to be stellar. And their projection for the future has to be really optimistic. And given that interest rates are still high and tech companies usually are prone to fluctuations in interest rates and yields, something glorious has to happen. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, you are now going to embark on the logic that the stock market itself is getting ready to take a shoe bag. And I'm talking a very, very interesting one to the downside. It's, remember, in relation to bonds, stocks are so overvalued, it's frightening, you know? It could be. NASDAQ has all this area here to protect, right? But if bonds are going up and NASDAQ's at all-time highs, Nvidia earnings will be coming out later on this evening at the close, right there. So it's going to be at the close of the market tonight. So take that into consideration. You're getting the Trump dump. Damn right, you're getting the Trump dump. That guy, I used to like that guy. Now I don't. He always ends up wrecking my calendar every single bloody day. Here we go. Markets are opening. NASDAQ is taking a free-for-all. Bitcoin's probably going to do the same. NASDAQ is collapsing. Oh, my days. It is absolutely going crazy. NASDAQ is just ripping the ranges lower and lower and lower and lower. Oh, my God. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. My God. Like badly going down. I'm getting out of that. Woo! Not bad. That was a scary trade. Just made $8,261 on that trade. That was crazy. That was crazy. That's why I've been looking at the NASDAQ non-stop. I could have stayed in the trade, but nah. No thanks. For God's sake, man, that was hard work. Shoot. Anyways, done with that. That has blown my brain. Because what I did was this. I'm going to show you what I did. You see this here? Oh, come on. Right. You see this? You see this? And then you see this? And then you see this? I'm going to show you something. What I like to do, right, is I play the micros. This is for anyone that is trading, all right? Anyone that is trading, I pick and choose on the way that I want to try and approach the day in terms of trading, okay? If I feel like we're in a play where the NASDAQ's going to be manipulating price, the move to the upside that we saw earlier on NASDAQ has fundamentally been engineered to bring it down. That's why I was running some shorts this morning, okay? And that, what I'm trying to achieve with that, right? Okay, I don't even know if you can see it. It's very small. Just zoom in, okay? But actually, I'll show you where I can get it. Here we go. Look. No, it's not going to work. Never mind. Anyways, so this is for scalpers, right? On the right, you've got the S&P standards, all right? So the S&P minis, right? Then you've got the NASDAQ minis, okay? Then up here, you've got the micros on the S&P, and then you've got the NASDAQ micros right here, okay? The logic is that if I open one contract on each one of these, so I have to have myself a bias. I have to say to myself, what am I expecting? I'm expecting price to come down, right? So I'll open a short one contract on the NASDAQ. Then I'll open a short on the S&P, okay? Then if it's going against me, I've got the micros where I can effectively capture the high on what I believe is going to be the high, try and run shorts on the top side using the micros, which means I'm using the micros. So that means I'm using less margin to take advantage of going short from a higher point. So by the time price comes back down to my entry on my standard contracts, I'd be in profit. So then I'm bouncing between the two. And what I did this morning was effectively open shorts on the NASDAQ, and it was going against me. Then I would go to the micros, and then I'll build more shorts on that. Did the same thing with the S&P, which is effectively using the depth of market to build positions. Depth of market realistically is about fast in, fast out, getting in and getting out. As an example, like so. Let's just have a look at the NASDAQ over here. Let me just get that. Let's look at the standards right now. Okay. So what I'm looking at right here is the NASDAQ it does look like it wants to continue lower. There's wicks down below. So I've got to be careful. That's the point of control right there. Okay. Could I exploit a move on the standards? Yeah. Well, look, if I go to the micros, okay, on the NASDAQ, look at the differences in size. So let's just take a long on the micros of the NASDAQ. So we go small contract. Right? $1.50. That is just dead. Okay. Each tick is $1 for me. All right. I've got no interest doing that. But this is where I'll start to build positions. So if NASDAQ's going to keep on going down, I've got to say to myself, okay, I'll start off light. All right. Start light and get ready to build on the idea that the NASDAQ's going to try and make a little bit of a reversal. Point of control has just changed. Okay. So by that logic, I'm down $25. I know if I open one contract on here, one tick is $12. Okay. So I could try and take advantage of that. But if NASDAQ keeps on going down, I'm losing $35, man. Shit. It's nothing. So then I look at the NASDAQ and I think, all right, is it going to level out in a second? Could we see it come up? Maybe. So then I'll go on a standard and I'll be like, let's go. Try and take advantage of the standard contract. Look at the price difference. Look, I'm down $200 already on the NASDAQ. Okay. Down $300. It's going down. I may have opened that a little bit too late. May have opened that a little bit too soon. Sorry. I've got to get out of that. Get out of that. Fucking hell. That was a bit tough. We'll try that again. Wait there. We're going to try and see reversal. Back up. Keep going. Pumps. Up she goes. There we are. Can we save it? Take some back. See how fast it moves? It's the most treacherous thing on earth. Absolutely treacherous. And you've got to be prepared. And that's what I do when I'm scalping. That was a bit of a shit example, but we scratched a little bit of that back. But NASDAQ could be going in line for reversals to the upside. It's moving so fast. Daily open test. And an example of that, ladies and gentlemen, I've recorded an example of that for the Platinum members. I'm going to be uploading that video later on. So I recorded 20 minutes trading. So that's on the live section on the Traders Reality website, live trading section on the Traders Reality website. So if you're interested in that and you want to understand that, because I did exactly the same thing on the NASDAQ and the S&P. I was in a drawdown on the S&P, saw NASDAQ, loaded up size, up she went, cleared the balance and cleared the drawdown, and it went on to make profit further and further on in the video. Okay, so getting that uploaded today. Any other questions? What's Bitcoin doing? With all this volatility, Bitcoin's done nothing. It's holding out. Okay. I'm going to give you some game. The speed of a candlestick will truly reveal what price is trying to achieve. Say you go onto a 1 hour time frame. Yeah. It's going down. Right? How fast is it going down? The faster the asset moves, the more information you're going to get about the speed of the candle. So when you go over to the NASDAQ, you can see bright as day that the NASDAQ moves pretty fast. Go to the 1 minute time frame. Look at how NASDAQ moves. I should have stayed in my long. Unbelievable. I should have stayed in my long. What the hell? I knew it. I knew she was going to do that. I think I need to trade, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Enough. Enough for the day. Forget that. NASDAQ can do whatever it wants. But listen, look at how fast the NASDAQ's moving there, right? Bitcoin doesn't move that fast, okay? But when you see Bitcoin's candlestick moving fast, for an asset that doesn't move fast, it's giving you information. Whether it's up or down, what you've got to look for is the speed of the candle. So when price drops and drops and drops and drops, you're like, complain. Wait till you see it slow down. When the candlestick slows down on the drop, then try and see if the momentum is going to start reversing in the other direction. If it starts to come back up at speed, that tells you that what they initially tried to do before to trap traders short is effectively getting ready to reverse. Now, trading volumes, right? Retail only makes up 5% of it. So the idea of, are they hunting for my stop loss? No. I'll break it down for you so you understand, okay? Now, this might be a little bit confusing, but you know what? The game is, if you want to try and simplify trading so much, just use moving averages or daily opens and closes, all right? But when you want to try and understand the mechanics of this game, then you've got to really dive into it. And it can aid you in understanding why price is going to be going up or down, okay? But this is logically what happens. If only retail makes up 5% of the day's trading activities, NASDAQ, I'm going to break your face, man. If retail only makes up 5%, so what about the rest of it? 95% dealers, market makers, dark pools, you name it. What do? They don't just buy and then they sell, they hedge, right? So let me bring this into you. Approach this. Bitcoin's price is going down, right? Down here, there could be an area of it's gamma in the sense of exposure, right? Now, up here, there could be more exposure. So when you're playing options, the idea is these guys want price to go down. These guys want price to go up. Now, dealers are effectively inside of these ranges, okay? Now, if they are primarily favoring higher prices, what they will do is they will effectively run their positions against their position. That means if they are short, if they are long on Bitcoin futures, okay, they're going to have to go to another asset to protect themselves, all right? And whatever position that they have in exposure, they've got to try and double up that position elsewhere. Now, if they are short on Bitcoin, remember, these two areas here are effectively the exposure for all these market makers and dealers, right? If they are short on Bitcoin, but price is going up, that means they're going to want to get themselves into an area of delta neutral. And delta neutral is up here, because if they're short and price is going up, they've got to protect themselves. So the only way they do that is go gamma negative, which means they go spot on their product. So they buy Bitcoin on spot and they short it in futures, okay? Now you can, with other assets, you can do the same thing going into ETFs and what have you, short and long on the VIX. So if they are in calls and they are needing to protect price because their position is going down, what they need to do is they need to go over to an asset like, for example, maybe the short-term futures of the VIX. They could go long on these contracts right here, and they can effectively long this, because if the VIX is going to go up, prices are going to go down, okay? And then they will wait and see how long they can stay in the trade for until they achieve that logic of balance inside of their delta. It's all about managing risk. So when you've got guys up here who are favoring shorts, guys down here favoring longs, and price is going to one point to the other and reversing, it's not, in my opinion, technical analysis. It's because at each area is triggering margins, all sorts of strategies, hedging abilities to get triggered. If it hits a certain price point based on a concentration of orders down here, then that's going to mean there's going to be out of the money options in one way, and then the market's going to then reverse. It's so complicated to put into a context, but the only way that you can look at it is... Fuck, I've just confused the shit out of you all. Does that make sense? Does that make sense at all? It doesn't. It's hard. It's hard to explain it, but the simplicity of it all is when a market maker has got exposure down here, right? And price, and he's effectively in a short, for example, and price keeps on going up. All right. Sorry, reverse it. If he's got exposure up here in his short, right? And price is going up, he has to protect himself. So then he goes spot, right? And then it effectively offsets the risk that he's got up here, because this up here could be margin, right? For the market maker. There is no such thing as no risk for the market maker. And why price goes up and down is because market makers, dealers are bouncing between the liquidity of gamma ratios and deltas and what have you. What level of risk does it put them at? Fuck me. It's so, yeah. Anyways. The Greeks is a whole other thing. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting reversal. So when you back to the idea of speed of the candles, right? That's what's happened with Bitcoin right here. Okay. This reversal could be dealers that are initially in short on Bitcoin futures, maybe, and they're making money, but they're also quickly going on spot because they think that they can actually exploit the reversal up. They could still be in shorts from all the way up here, right? So when you look at price moving at speed, when it comes to a zone, and it's not because the RSI's hit 30 or the MACDs have crossed over in moving averages, you're looking at the after event. That's why the hybrid system, I'm not just saying it to just promote the hybrid system. It's fucking free, man. Download it. But the hybrid system, in terms of candlesticks, ranges, moving averages, it gives you an insight into how price behaves. Why did Bitcoin sweep to only make a reversal from that point? Why is it reversed from the range daily low? Why is it reversed from the low ADR? You know, these are just points of interest in the chart. Has it swept the liquidity? Yeah, more than likely. It's missed out potentially on some of that liquidity there. But we don't know for sure unless dealers have stepped in. And that could be a gamma point. It could be a point where the exposure for dealers is so much that they need to do something to hedge themselves. So they could be running spot on that because they have an expectation that maybe it could be going, it could reverse from that point. That's my belief on it. Because when you watch all these podcasts and all the stuff that they say, you know, that there's no such thing as, you know, smart money concepts or anything like that. Okay, cool. So there's no such thing as anything about it. All right. Is there market makers? Correct. Are there dealers? Yes. Are there brokers? Correct. Do we have retail traders? Yes. Who is logical in their thinking? Well, retail isn't logical because they buy when prices rises. Okay, so we know that the illogical behavior is over there. But what about the market makers, the dealers? Well, we know that they have huge amounts of liquidity behind them, pockets deep as hell, where they can say, I'm going to go short on Bitcoin here, but I'm also going to go on spot because I believe in the next week and a half, we're going to see price going up. No different to this story right here. In front of you is the CME implied rate differential, okay? And that is for something, if you want to get yourself euros and dollars and what have you, let me just refresh it, just to put it into perspective for you, okay? So look, in front of you is this dog shit. Oh, come on, man. There we go. Right, look, these are the implied differential rates for the euro and for the yen and pound. If I'm a dealer, I'm going to get my dollars and I'm going to exchange them over to euro to take advantage of the implied rate differential and lock it in for 19 days, okay? That approach there is similar to what dealers and brokers and market makers do with cryptocurrency, okay? If they believe that Bitcoin's price is going to go down for a certain period of time, they're going to run their shorts. But they're not just going to sit there with shorts. They have effectively got clients' money, banks' money, people's money. They're using big pools of liquidity. They have to put it to work. It can't just be sat there. It's not like Berkshire and Hathaway sat on $400 billion worth of cash. They've got nothing. They don't need to do anything, especially when your stock's priced at nearly $750,000. You're doing all right. No pressure. But market makers in principle have liquidity that need to be put to work. Plus, they transact so often as well. So when they see prices going down and it's in their short and they are favored, they know that at some instance it's going to start marking back up because maybe another market maker is getting ready to offload his shorts. Okay? He might be getting ready to go long. That's why it's important to pay attention to the way the candlestick moves at speed, because that is going to tell you if one of these dudes over there is trying to do the other thing that the other dude's trying to do. That means dealers and market makers. There is no concept out there that can put you in on directly exactly what's going on, because everyone's relationship to risk is different from a market maker's perspective to a bank's perspective. Bank of America think that there's not going to be any interest rate decreases going in this year and going into next year. That's Bank of America. So what? Goldman Sachs says one thing. JP Morgan says another thing. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just because you've got the title of being a bank, just because you've got an expectation, it will continuously change. Okay? Try and approach trading in that logic. Focus on the speed of the way price moves. If you see Bitcoin slowly going down, small candlesticks, it's trending lower. Then all of a sudden, you see this fast move down. Everyone was shit in the bed a minute ago. Now Bitcoin's coming back up. And NASDAQ's doing the same thing. We've got news, no news. If Trump decides to turn around and talk, is he going to say anything? No, it's the G20. Please. Please. Oh my, for God's sake, man, I quit. I am done. He's speaking again. He's speaking again. How about his latest executive orders? For God's sake, I'm finished with this guy. I'm done. Nah, I'm finished with him. He's just taught every single day in the calendar. Go away, man. You know what, Peter? You got the right idea, my bro. You've got the right idea. You trade when he sleeps, but for a president that sleeps 3 hours, 4 hours max, you ain't getting nothing. But like I said before, guys, if you're not considering, if hedging is not part of your trading strategy, you do run the risk of problems. You do. I know I say about BTCC, okay? Oh, God. Wait, let me just sort this out. I know I say about BTCC, right? But it is a platform that you can effectively hedge from, okay? That means if you want to run shorts on NASDAQ, on Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, you name it, it's all there in Forex, okay? You're seeing the euro making a pump to the upside and Bitcoin's at the day off and you've got a long on Bitcoin and you're waiting for it and you can see the euro's pumping, then you get involved and trade the euro, okay? It's a hedgeable platform, practically, in the sense where you can pick more than one asset. You're short in MicroStrategy, you can trade MicroStrategies. Go and look for it. MSTR, where is it? MSTR right there. You can short it. You think Nvidia is going to go to the bin? We'll build some positions over here. And you can short Nvidia. Where is it? Nvidia right there. All right? Coinbase. You think that's going to come down? If crypto's going to come down and you don't want that mad exposure, go short on Coinbase. Go short on MicroStrategy. And what other ones is there? Is there any other? No, that's it. Okay? Or short crypto-based currency stocks. That's the basis. Description has got the link for you with BTCC, but great for anyone in the United States because you don't need KYC or VPN. Now, Bitcoin, back up. Any other questions, guys? Tina, why is Bitcoin moving? I like to see your wisdom and guidance. Why is Bitcoin moving? And why is Bitcoin moving, man? Why is it? Any questions, guys? Biden did sleep all day. Tino, but when you hedge, how do you know which one to close and when? Hedging is on the premise that you're already in a profitable position. So hypothetically, if you ran longs from this area here, Bitcoin then makes a move to the upside, okay? And he makes a really nice move to the upside, you have a hedgeable event. What's that mean? That means you can start running shorts from here, okay? On the assumption that the rally from the downside is effectively going to start bringing Bitcoin back up, that means any move to the downside, you are effectively taking profits on your short. That means that when your short gets triggered up here and it comes down and you've got profit, you close the short. Then with the short profit that you've made, you effectively run another long to bring your entry up and take a long from that point. Play the game. It goes up again. Then you go short yet again. Key areas. Go short, comes back down again. Take the profit, close off the trade. Now you've got more profit. Put it in again because Bitcoin looks like it's going to start bouncing from this point. Average entry, increase, up she goes. That's the logic. You're shorting. But every trade that you take is free because you're using profit from each trade. So that is technically risk-free trading. Now, fundamentally, if you are in a short on Bitcoin from the all-time high, okay? Every time you see a red vector candle, you run long, happy days, take the profit, run your short from that region and come down. But the art of it is knowing. That's why when you're looking at trends, it makes life a little bit easier for you. Narratives, high interest rates, dollar dominance, gold, safe haven, inconsistencies with the FOMC, boring as hell, Trump, tariffs, orders, it all has an impressionable thing on people. You can exploit that. NASDAQ, I'm so depressed with you. Anyways, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that makes sense. Caught the bottom, happy days. Pancho, what's good, man? What's good? Tino, do you notice when Saylor buys Bitcoin around the price of 97,500 a day, 2024, but that day on the exchange price was that price? How is that? Wasn't that price? He's buying it on the OTC, I think. He must be buying it on OTC. It's going to be a different price. Tino, it doesn't feel like getting destroyed by your wife. Right, that's it. I'm done. Be sure to like and subscribe. Just like the stream. You don't even need to subscribe. It'd be nice, but you don't. Just like. That's all you got to do. Just hit. Anyways, I'm out, guys. Mad love and respect. Peace. What a